Okay, we're going to get started with our parent orientation. Okay, so our agenda is going to be the welcome and introductions. Reviewing the parent handbook, our new social emotional curriculum that's coming, and we're going to save a little bit of time for questions and answers. So we wanted to thank you for taking the time to be here. We're going to play a little parent game, and this is also a way for us to take roll for who's here. So in the chat, if you can choose a number between 1 and 25, and next to that, put your child's first name and last initial. Then we can play a little game afterwards. And while everyone's doing that, I just wanted to introduce our Achievers teachers. I think most of them are joining us. You have my notes. Speaker notes. So I'm the director, Heather, and we've been open for a year now. So I've been here for a year. We also have Sandra, who is the Dalmatians teacher, along with, she will be taking on another role as, she's training to be assistant director, but she's going to be like a supervisor for us. So she'll be my right-hand man, the eyes and ears on the floor. So I'm happy and excited to have somebody also helping me in the office. Rachel is here as a support teacher for the school. She was a bees teacher, but she's shifting to have the role of supporting everyone. Nicole is our busy bees teacher in that classroom. Melissa and April are the sharks teachers in the back. Maria is our cook, and she wasn't able to join us tonight. And then Cindy, who has been the Dalmatians teacher, is shifting to being our specialist teacher. So she is helping with our curriculum and also the social emotional program that we have starting. And then if you have any questions, I'm going to ask that you either write them down or keep them to yourself, and we will try and answer as many questions at the end. And then I'll also be available throughout the week if you had any questions we couldn't get to. So our hours of operation, we are going to continue to open at 7:30. Breakfast is served in between 8:30 and 9, and the program begins at 9. So if your child is coming in between the hours 8:30 and 9, closer to 9, try and have their bellies full, or let the teachers know if you were running late one day and they weren't able to get anything, and we will try and see if we can give them a little fruit or something if it happens to be closer to 9. I know that some kids are super hungry in the morning and our next meal isn't until lunch, so we really want to make sure that we're putting the families and the school in the transition from breakfast to when the program starts. Our new closing time is going to be extended to 5:30. It's going to help with those later pickups. I know a lot of families get here right at that 5 o'clock hour and they want to check in with teachers and get their kids quickly. So we're hoping to give a little extra time for that. If you have a specific schedule right now that you've checked in with me about, I know I've been asking some of you what your schedule is going to be in the fall. We really want to make sure that we have that written down so our staff can support the amount of kids that are going to be here and that we stay within our ratios. I will be here until 5:30 when the new school year starts. So I want to make sure I don't have 20 kids all by myself. So if your schedule needs to change that later time, just let me know so I can make sure that we have enough staff for that as well. And then the first Monday of the month, we are going to be closing for staff in-service days. And this was our first one. And next month is a holiday. So for example, if it's on a holiday like Labor Day, that's not going to be the Monday we close. We're going to do the following Monday. So the 12th, I believe. I believe it's the 12th, that will be the half day on the 1 o'clock time. And then again, arrive by 9 o'clock. If for some reason your child has an appointment or you're running late, every now and then call ahead on the phone, send a message on ProCare, and let us know that you're going to be late so we can prepare for that. ProCare, there's either the app that you can have on your phone, or we have our code in the front of the school that you can sign in and out of. You can use the 4-digit PIN, making sure that everyone that comes and goes is using their own PIN to sign in and out. It's crucial because I make sure that the classrooms are all checking their own roll call. So if we're doing a fire drill and you didn't sign your child in that day, then they will kind of go unaccounted for until we notice it. When I get here in the mornings, I'm always checking to make sure that everyone signs in and out with their codes. So make sure that you're just using the sign in and sign out and sign your children every day and out when you leave. If there is no one inside the building and you're ringing the doorbell waiting for a teacher, we are doing our best to make sure that the door is open and we're hearing for you. But if you happen to come after 9 o'clock and you've let us know, then don't enter the facility or let your child come in unattended. There's always a phone number you can call on the door if we're not hearing the doorbell. But if everyone comes before 9, we will make sure that somebody is listening for that doorbell and able to get your child for you. And then the ProCare app is a really cool thing to use for all communications. We've been using it a lot more the last few months. Director, teacher, we can all communicate on there. We can use it for updates, school messages. We're gonna figure out how to upload the lunch menus on there. I know that we post them in the entryway as well. Photos and videos. I've talked to the teachers in the classrooms and we're excited to be able to send things to the parents and communicate how long children nap for, or sending projects that they've done throughout the day, activities, that kind of thing. So if you're not yet hooked up to that to be able to receive the notifications or the instant messages, then let us know, we can help you. But that's a really great way for us to communicate with you. And let us know if you're going to be late picking up or dropping off. Phone call or ProCare is fine. Absences, I know a lot of people are going on vacation and things like that. We have vacation slips to fill out. We just want to know if and when your kids are coming so that we can account for them. If you have a withdrawal date, if your child's going to be going to kindergarten or anything like that, then let us know. We have a form for submitting a 2-week notice as well. And there's my information if you guys need it, phone number and email. Updating information is really important. I feel like we've had a lot of families that carried over from Kiwi preschool, and we're in the process of updating the emergency cards and any other information. There are some people that come and go from emergency cards that no longer pick up, or some that need to be added on. So check in with me if you'd like to update that, or else I'll be going through that this next week. And schedules, confirming your schedule before this Friday. If you do need a little more time than the 5 o'clock hour, let us know and we can change that. Allergy and medical information is good to update as well. So I can let the cook know if there's any new food allergies that need to be addressed. And then our last day of summer is this Friday. So that means our first official school day is Monday, the 15th. We are going to, this week, be working on clearing out all the children's belongings. I'm sure there's some hot weather, cold weather, different clothes, maybe some that don't fit anymore because the children haven't used their changes of clothes. So we're gonna get prepared to send everything home and then be ready to go for next week. And we have the school calendar, closed federal holidays and all that information. And I can make a copy of it and have it in the entryway for people to look at. And we're also going to be sending out the updated parent handbook in an email to everyone. So the teacher in-service days, I know we talked about, we're closing at 1 p.m. on the first Monday of every month, unless it's a holiday. And that's mainly for staff development and being able to do our trainings and prep for our school. And it's just a really important time for teachers to communicate with each other. Back to school, we wanted to try and plan a back to school night. So we're tentatively holding a date of, I think, September 12th for that evening. There'll be more information to come, but we really want to have our school available to families on an evening so they can come see their children's work. And we wanted to implement more special events and parents' night out for our families. We did a parents' night out last Valentine's Day, and it was really sweet. Parents were able to go on a date night. We had the kids, and we did a lot of fun crafts and things like that with them. Also, parent-teacher conferences, time slots for parents to go over information with the teachers, and just us to do a check-in with assessments and goals. And then clothing and supplies, weather appropriate, comfortable to play in clothes. If they get dirty, sending a change of clothes, making sure that it's all labeled. And shoes, making sure they're appropriate shoes for school that the children can put on and off. Sandals are great right now in the summer. I know Crocs and sandals that have holes in them make it uncomfortable when the kids get the rocks inside, and also it's hard for them to run in sometimes. And then nap time. So starting in the fall, all the classrooms will be taking their rest. So we ask that you bring a small blanket, a fitted crib sheet. Some are putting pillowcases with their child's name on them. That way those can be washed as well. And then small stuffed animals are welcome during nap time. And water bottles. Water bottles are the best way for kids to stay hydrated. They know exactly which water bottle's theirs. Having those labeled. Each classroom has the buckets that they carry around, and they follow them all day. And just something that the kids can access themselves. And writing your child's name on everything. I know sometimes teachers want to write names on clothing and water bottles. If you don't want us to do that, let us know if you have another way to label your child's clothes. Sometimes we find clothing and there's no name and nobody recognizes it. So we really want to make sure we keep all the materials for your kids. And then we have our new food program that's happened, and the kids are doing really great with it. They really love the cook. We're maybe going to shift the menu a tiny bit because we're noticing there's things that the children just are not interested in. So we really want to cater to the balanced meals and trying new things, but making sure it's things that the kids actually enjoy as well. And then the menus are posted out in the reception area, and we're going to be able to put those on ProCare as well so that you guys can view those. We were talking about doing fresh fruit and water breaks. So water breaks happen along the day, but having fruit available for kids for in between meals is something we were going to start establishing because they do get a little hungry every now and then. And then letting us know if there's any food restrictions or allergies that develop. Like there's been some lactose and kids that are breaking out in rashes from certain foods that they're trying at home. So just making sure to communicate those with us would be great. And then sick policy. So daily health checks are going to happen when the child arrives at school, making sure that if you notice anything with your child, that you communicate it with us. If we notice anything while your child's at school, we're going to communicate it with you. There's a list of some of the symptoms that if we notice or if you notice, then we'll communicate with each other. And we will have an illness form for you to fill out if your child needs to be picked up. And because we are still experiencing COVID, there may be a request for that or a doctor's note to follow. And if there's any specific medication, I know sometimes children need to take antibiotics that are from the doctor. We can have that separate conversation. If your child needs medication administered through the doctor, just let me know. And then minor major injuries, we always have an incident report that we fill out if your child gets hurt at school. Any type of injury that we noticed, we will check in with you about. Sometimes that's a phone call or a pro care message and a picture, or it can be communication when you come to pick up your child. Even more immediate things could result in a phone call. But if you notice any injuries that you did not get a report for, please let us know. Sometimes the report was done and left on the back counter because we were tending to the child. So that's big communication that we like to have with the families. And we encourage the kids to follow the rules outside and play with the toys and the other children appropriately so that we can minimize injuries while at school. Sunscreen is something that we ask that you bring from home with a note, or not a note. There's a permission on file. The child's sunscreen should be labeled, and we have been applying it after rest time. So if you put that on in the morning for your child, then wearing a hat also will help them in the sun. We can keep those at school, or you can bring them each day if you'd like. And then birthdays, lots of kids at our school, so lots of birthdays get celebrated. If you would like to bring a special treat for your child, healthy treats are obviously encouraged, muffins and fruit, things like that, but have a conversation with the teacher or send a message and we can have a talk about how you want to have the birthday in your child's classroom. And then our nap and rest time. So this summer, we had the oldest classroom stay awake to kind of prep for kindergarten. Now that the new school year is starting, there will be nap time across the school. So each classroom will be laying on the cots and resting. If your child is not used to taking naps or takes naps at home a certain way, we would really like to communicate with you on how that works. We don't require kids to sleep, but they do, per licensing, need to be on their cot resting for at least 45 minutes during the day. So we can talk to you about that if your child is a fully enrolled day program that is going to be here during the rest period, and see how we can help support them during that. If for some reason your child is not able to be on their cot during the rest time, or it's not working out, then we'll have a conversation with you, try a few things and see if we can help.
Okay, so we'll start back up with potty training. And for those who haven't met me yet, I am Miss Sandra, the Dalmatians teacher. So thank you guys all for being patient with us again. So with potty training, hi. Oh. So the teachers, oh, let me move my little screen over here. So us teachers are working one-on-one with families to help the toilet training process. So we're just encouraging families to let us know, what language you guys are using at home. Some people use potty, some people use toilet, that kind of language. So we keep it consistent. It was really helpful. Let's see. And it says, please provide several diapers, wipes, and changes of clothes. So we usually ask to have, for our potty training friends, 2 full changes of clothes, just in case accident happens, as well as diapers and wipes. And we always just send home a little slip if we ever need more. So the clothing, this is really, really important to have successful potty training. Clothing should be really easy for the child to pull up and down, and that really promotes independence, and it just gives them a sense of accomplishment when they can do it all by themselves. So especially with the pants that have buttons or things like that, either showing your child at home how to do that themselves, and then we can assist here, or just the really easy slipping on and off style pants. So toys from home. So we do encourage toys to be left at home, but if your child does want to bring them, they are welcome to bring them. We'll just ask them to either keep them in their cubby, or if they wanted to share with their friends, we do promote kind sharing with friends. The big reason why we try not to have kids bring their toys from home is because it could become lost, it could become damaged, and that really hurts a child's feelings when stuff like that happens. But toys are okay as long as they're in their cubbies. Sleep stuffies are welcome, but they will be used for nap time use only. So if your child does want to bring his special stuffy to have during nap time, it will stay in their nap time cubby and come out during sleep time, but something that we won't have them like carrying around the yard with and things like that. So our discipline policy here at Achievers. So here, let me move my screen. So it says, Achievers staff promotes positive discipline methods and teaches self-awareness and social emotional skills that help effectively communicate those emotions and needs. We really promote independence, positive play, conflict resolution, and kind language. And how we are starting to implement this is by introducing kimochis to the classroom. So we have already introduced it from Miss Cindy. She introduced it to the Dalmatians classroom, but now it's going to be utilized in all of the classrooms come fall, which we'll learn a little bit more about kimochis on the next slide. So with the discipline policy, on occasions, behaviors do become disruptive to the program, or it could cause, just harm to the child or the environment. And in that event, the child may be asked to leave early, but this is a very last resort method. We'll use all of the methods here that we have in program to help your child become successful in dealing with their behaviors or emotions, but we really do try. We know everybody's working and can't always get off of work early, so we try our hardest to, help the child before calling you guys. So in an event that does happen, your child's asked to go home early, we'll have a report be written. And if it's something that's like a reoccurring behavior, we really try to work one-on-one with families. We try to, develop a plan together. We look at, what behaviors we're seeing in the classroom, what those desired behaviors we're really trying to strive for, and then we come up with strategies together that we can use at school and at home, so that way your child becomes, successful in that. We really, really do believe that we can help children become successful in dealing with, emotional needs, conflict resolution, and things like that. So one way that we do help with, the social emotional curriculum is called Kimochis. And here is a little video that Miss Cindy, our new teacher, she became our Dalmatian teacher. Now she's going to be our specialty teacher in the fall. Here's her sharing a little bit about Kimochis.
Hi, my name is Cindy, and I'm a specialty teacher here at Achievers Preschool. My focus is social, emotional, and behavioral learning, and my greatest qualifier in educating your children is that I'm a parent myself. I have 3 kids. They are 24, when did that happen? 14 and 10. So I know just how challenging teaching our kids tools to communicate their feelings can be. I have an education background, and I hold an early childhood teaching credential, as well as a degree in early childhood education with an emphasis on development. I am currently working on my PhD in learning and mind sciences, and my research specialty is managing behaviors in the classroom with something called environmental accommodation. And one of the tools that we use for this in our classrooms at Achievers is kimochis. That's these little guys. So if you're a parent here already, you have probably heard of these little guys. Kimochi characters are just such a great way to connect with kids. Each kimochi character has a little story, and they teach different feelings language. So they give us communication tools for building emotional vocabulary, practicing basic communication skills, and developing empathy and resilience. These are really essential components for emotional intelligence, which absolutely contributes to overall academic success, and even more importantly, improve mental health outcomes for people in general. So Kimochis is a research-based teaching tool. It's all about relationships. So as educators, we are taught to teach the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. Yes, I know those don't all start with R. So Kimochis helps us teach the 4th R, which is relationships. And this established research tells us that strong relationships and communication skills like self-awareness, empathy, resilience are very clear key indicators for emotional wellness and success. That's academically and in all areas of our life, from preschool through our adulthood. That's why I'm so proud to be bringing a program like this to our students at Achievers. Something really cool that we send home with our Kimochis program is something called home links. So watch out for home links. They are slips of paper or electronic communication. They will tell you what Kimochi we're working on that week and offer you some tips and tricks for how you can incorporate our Kimochis learning into your home. So I really look forward to meeting all of you in person, and have a wonderful school year.
Right, so that was a little bit from Miss Cindy. Oops, let's see. Oh, 1 second. So again, just a little rerun. This is a tool for managing behaviors for environmental accommodations. Kimochis really help and introduce language and communication tools that really promote emotional intelligence, and it's just a way for kids to communicate their needs to us. This is a research-based teaching tool, and actually a lot of, well, I don't know if it's a lot, but different elementary schools around Sonoma County do utilize Kimochi. So some of the friends here, actually, their older siblings that are in different elementary schools, they're already introduced to these. So it's really nice that kids, especially our age groups, are being introduced to these tools that they can use and grow with in their education careers. So something else that we're introducing is something we're going to call parent work days. Oops. So this is just a new way for parents to volunteer their time to help kind of improve our school. And some ideas that we were having was like, we have a sandbox that we're hoping to clear out. We wanted to implement more planting, more gardening, more painting, and then any creative talents that people just wanted to volunteer their time with. It's a really great way for all of us to build a community within the school and with each other. And so if you guys have any ideas or wanting to volunteer any of your skills or your time, definitely reach out to Heather and we can talk about that. And then some of the extracurriculars activities that are offered here are gymnastics with Mr. Rick. It's something that has been coming from Kiwi, but it's still continuing Wednesdays from 9 to 10 a.m. He does have a sign-up sheet posted out on the parent board here in the lobby. He does have a limited spot available, but I believe that he opens it to all age groups, and you can contact him directly, and there's his number there. There's also ballet with Miss Christine, and this is a new program that we implemented in the summer. So she comes Tuesdays from 9 a.m. from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Ballet attire is recommended, and she actually offers it from ages 3.5 and older. And there's her contact information as well. So these are separate extracurriculars that you can sign up for that is outside of normal, tuition rates and things like that. So that's something that you pay for and sign up for a little bit separately. Okay, and then is this the tuition policy? Did you want to take back over on tuition policy, or want me to keep going?
Sure.
Okay, let me mute myself.
Okay, so the tuition is due the 1st of the month. You have until the 5th to pay, or there could be a late fee applied. Other fees include late pickup fees, which we've shifted a little bit from the past. So it is the first 15 minutes being late is going to be $15 and then a minute thereafter. And when you sign out your child on ProCare, that is the time that we will use as your clock out time. There's returned check fees for if you choose to pay that way. We have multiple ways of paying tuition. There's a tuition box in the center for checks and cash. You can link your bank account, which I've seen the most popular way to do it, and just pay through the online app on your ProCare. And there could be other options available if you reach out. I know we're just here to support everyone when it comes to tuition. Since everyone has a different plan and schedule. We also have a diaper fee that's going to be starting. So if you're forgetting your diapers and we need to use diapers from the center, there'll be a charge for that. Oh, we're already at questions and answers. Is that it? Okay, so that was a lot of information. If anyone has any questions, we can do those now. And also I'm going to send out a copy of the parent handbook to everyone's email that we have on file. If you don't receive that, please let me know. It may just be an updating of an email. If you want a paper copy, you can let me know as well, but we want to make sure everyone gets a copy of that to have the updated version.
Heather and Sandra, I just want to kind of add a little bit to you, to the presentation. You guys did an amazing job. First of all, I think it was very thorough. Parents, I mean, like, they should have no answers, but we are always eager to hear their opinions, their questions. When it came to school calendar, there's one more thing that we added, which is in the handbook, but was not in the previous one, which is the Juneteenth holiday. So we will also be staying closed on Juneteenth. That's only one thing I want to add, and we will send you an updated version of the handbook. You guys go over it and see if there's any specific questions. You can always email, but we have a floor open now. If anyone have any questions, I and Divya, we both are here on the meeting also. If we can, if any of our qualified staff cannot answer, we are here to answer those questions.
Okay. Hi, thank you. I had a question. So since 4Cs pays for childcare for Chloe, for some reason on the ProCare app, it still keeps saying we owe $2,000. Is that just because it hasn't been put through yet? Or is if 4Cs isn't taking care of it, will you guys let me know so I can contact 4Cs?
We would definitely let you know, probably
Okay.
multiple times if you owed that much money to the school.
Okay.
Thanks for asking. But yes, everyone's tuition is set up very specifically to their need, and some have subsidies that help to cover certain costs. So the tricky part about some of those entities is that they pay after the month is provided of care. So we see after the fact. So it does get put on. There's just always going to be a recurring balance. I think Ms. Nero was going to figure out a way to kind of put that in a separate area in ProCare. So we're working closely with ProCare to find out if there's a way that doesn't stress parents out when they see that. But yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, great. And I think that was it. Otherwise, you said Juneteenth, but I didn't know what day that was. Was that not we're already past June for the day we are having? There was another holiday, but you guys let us know beforehand the holidays, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So there was another question. It says for students starting the 15th is co-charged with collected fin. It says I got a request for August 1st, but I didn't pay it because my kid is not starting until the 15th. So Neer, Divya, or Heather, would you guys be able to answer that?
Yeah, I got the question from the chat. So I think we will just change the date on the tuition. I mean, like typically all the tuitions get posted on August 1st, but if you look at the amount, your amount should be, which is starting August 15th. I mean, like, you have just with certain cases, we can be a little flexible that you pay literally before your child starts, but typically our tuition fees is due on 1st. I think it's a new school year. Some of the kids are starting in the middle of the month. The fee posted is the right amount. It just fees due is on August 1st. We can always change the date. Stella, I'll take care of that.
And then some had a question saying they also had issues with 4C. So if you wanted to take yourself on mute and discuss it, or you can send Heather or Neer or Divya a private message as well.
I think Sandra, I think in your room, both of you are one of you have to be on the mute when you're saying the question, otherwise the voice is echoing. But I think if I understand the question, it is about the 4Cs, and which Heather just said, 4Cs tuitions are posted in rear. I think there were no issues before June because everybody else, I used to put every subsidy family under the subsidy ledger. So whatever you guys see at your end was always zero. But since June, we added a hot lunch and whatnot. So system got just mixed up. I am, trying to find time to fix that. So, at your end, especially for subsidy families, it should always show zero unless you are liable to pay a party fee or a hot lunch fee or any other additional fees. Otherwise, it should always say zero. So we will be working on the billing, and it should look clear on your site.
So for the next question.
I had a question about
So the next question
training.
was, it says, are pillows provided, in which case we should pack a pillowcase, or should we pack a pillow with our child? So I think that got a little confusing for some of the parents, but why we said a pillowcase is because we do have a small cubby for nap time. So what we're requesting is that all of their stuff, blankets, if you wanted to send a stuffed animal, the crib sheet, or some people send very tiny personalized pillows, all of that should be able to fit comfortably inside the nap cubby. And so a really good indicator with that is it should fit in a clear shopping bag, or it should fit into a pillowcase. So in order to eliminate the plastic waste, then, you know, just having a pillowcase labeled with a Sharpie or however you choose to label your child's things, fitting them into a pillowcase that they can bring on Monday with their stuffed animals, their sheet, put inside their cubby, and then that will also be what they take their blankets home with on Friday when it gets sent home to wash. So we do not provide pillows here. Small pillows that do, like we said, fit inside the cubby are welcome, but we're really encouraging send, you know, small blankets, you know, small enough to fit in the cubbies, but large enough to cover your child's body. And crib sheets are very important. Some people are sending, you know, twin size ones or, you know, top sheets, but the crib sheets fit on our cots perfectly. So I hope that answered your question. Okay, and then
Sandra, I want to take
how can I
this
check
next
with my
question.
child's teacher on how potty training is going? So Heather can go ahead and answer that question too.
Okay, so ProCare is probably the best way to communicate with teachers. We can all view it that way. Also, in-person communication is good too. I try and help communicate to the teachers if I'm in the office and a parent wants to check in about those kind of things. We communicate pretty good as a center, but the best way to have an ongoing conversation that everyone can view is probably going to be the ProCare messaging. And then another question that popped up is, what is food program payment? So when we started our food program back in June, subsidies will only cover a certain amount depending on your situation. So if a subsidy is covering your tuition, they may not be covering the additional fees. So a food program fee or payment is what that is that additional fees attached that your subsidy will not cover.
Heather, just to make this answer clear, food program payment is only for the subsidy families, because the cash paying families, we have already incorporated that amount starting June, because those who are paying cash for their kids, they're already paying the lunch fee with it. It's only for the subsidy families because the subsidy doesn't cover the food fee, if I can answer correctly.
So I had a question about pickup time. Is there like a 15-minute grace period after 5? Because sometimes the lobby area is kind of congested like right at 5, and it's hard to like get in and sign your kid out right on time.
I agree. It is a very busy time. So the reason we wanted to extend it until 5:30 is to give families an option, because we do notice we have a lot of kids right at the 5 o'clock hour that are getting picked up. Unfortunately, it'll probably just be me after 5 or 5:15 able to answer any questions or do any check-ins. So they could be very brief. That's why the best way is probably ProCare messaging if you're a parent that's going to be picking up later. And if you are having to be here right at like a 5:15 or 5:30, children are going to be kind of ready to go at that point, because the school does need to close right at 5:30. And any check-ins that's immediate with teachers, ProCare messaging is probably the best way to do that. And just because we're staying open till 5:30, the schedule for your child needs to be very specific. So if you need anything after 5 o'clock, hopefully that'll get communicated to me, because that will be put on the roster as your child's schedule. That way we know what children are going to need to stay after 5 o'clock, because only a certain amount of children can stay with a certain amount of teachers. So we're hoping that we can get that changed in the roster for the fall so that we can accommodate families that need to pick up after 5 o'clock.
Does anybody else have a question?
I have a question.
I think Shannon has a question. Shannon, go ahead.
I was just curious about I don't know if I just didn't catch it, but the candies.
Shannon, you're breaking up. We didn't get the question. Either type it or maybe, the connection is poor. We didn't get that question.
Okay, I'll type it.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you, Shannon.
And then Sabrina, did we answer your question about the 15 minutes?
I
Like about-
understand
So it's not exactly that
that
we have a
like
grace
check-in
period, but we
time
know
for
that the lobby gets
communicate.
congested. Oh, you're muted still, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I
Oh,
feel like I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now?
I can, I had my computer on mute, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So I understand that like check-in time is kind of required. I know, especially my kids, I need time to check in about their days. But I was talking kind of more in regards to like the fees coming along with that, because I do work across the street, so I get there pretty much like right at 5. But a lot of times there is like maybe like 2 or 3 parents in front of me. They're doing check-ins, and I can't like sign out physically on the tablet exactly when I get there. So is there going to be like a grace period for after 5, even though my kids are kind of only scheduled to go till 5?
So we have, so you don't get charged that $15 late fee until you're there 15 minutes late kind of thing. So after 15 minutes, it will be a $15 charge, but you know, it's kind of like hard to say. So
I think,
your schedule, because like you do usually come around that time, we can always adjust your schedule a little bit later, but the 15 minutes, the $15 doesn't come until after you're scheduled. So if your child's supposed to be here from 9 to 3 o'clock and you show up at 4 o'clock, there will be a late fee. Or if you show up at 3:15 or 3:20, because the pickup time was 3. So if you wanted to extend your pickup time to the 5:30 period, you can definitely adjust your schedule with Heather to kind of avoid those late fees. But all the $15 late fee will come after 15 minutes of your scheduled time. And then we know that the lobby and stuff gets busy, so we won't be like so meticulous about it, if that makes sense. So we know if you're in the lobby and you're talking with us and things go, then you won't be charged for it on that basis, if that answers your question a little bit better.
That does. Thank you.
No problem. And then did you want to go ahead? I think it was Shannon that had another question. Did you want to try again to speak it, or did you want to type it in the chat?
I sent it to Heather.
Okay.
So all the children in the center will be working with Cindy. I saw that you were wondering if your child would be able to work with Cindy with the special Kimochis and everything. So Cindy's plan is to be able to, on Wednesdays, work with the school as a whole and go around to the different classrooms.
Okay, and even if he's only there half day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So it will be Wednesdays will be the day that she goes around to the different classrooms, and everyone will get a little lesson during the day.
Okay.
And for anybody that was curious, oh, you want to mute? Sorry, we're going back and forth. So that's the echoing. Let me see. But if anybody was curious about the Kimochi program, there is a ton of information online. You can go, there's Pinterest, there's Google, there's all of the information is free. And like in Miss Cindy's video, there is going to be like things that you guys can do at home that we will be sending, introducing the new characters and what each character brings, how to use it, how to utilize that character. And then, you know, different activities that kind of involve it. And those will be done here. We'll send some home. But if you guys are ever curious, like, oh, they're learning about Hugtopus, like, how can Hugtopus help my house? You just type in, you know, Kimochis, and all this information will be shared. We're really trying to utilize ProCare more. But you guys can look all this stuff up at home as well. And they really
Sandra,
are great tools.
Sandra, could I say something about that?
Oh yeah, please do. Please do.
So another resource for that is something called kimochisway.org. And a lot of I think I have an echo because all us teachers are meeting here together. Let me move away from another teacher. Okay, so kimochisway.org is a website, and there's a parent portal where you can access any information. There's loads and loads and loads of free materials for parents to access. And I think part of introducing Kimochis here, part of my job will not just be teaching Kimochi lessons, but also helping the other teachers to utilize the Kimochi's way in their classrooms, right? So that we can expand the children's emotional vocabulary and really utilize the program to the best of its ability. So I wanted to just comment on that because I know James' mom was asking about if we'll be working with with all of the children. I will work with all of the children here. And also the teachers are getting, they're learning how to use Komochis also. So the teachers are another really great resource to talk to about Komochis.
Yeah, luckily, in the fall time, Cindy is going to stay on board with us, like Heather had said, as a specialty teacher. So on Wednesday, she is going to be going to each of the classrooms, and our circle time is actually going to be a full Kimochi lesson. So I believe that's how the schedule is going to be, is Wednesdays is going to be our Kimochi focused lessons. So if you had any questions about that, feel free to just reach out to any of us on ProCare, and you can also reach out to Cindy directly. And then I did put in the chat the kimochisway.org if anybody was interested in just seeing what type of free resources are out there for teachers, or excuse me, for all the parents.
Wow. So no question is a good question, Heather. Maybe now you can talk about your game. And before you get your game, I don't know what is going to be, but the prizes and whatnot. I honestly want to say thank you, myself and Divya, we both are here. I want to say thank you to all the staff, and thank you to parents also for easily accommodating to our changed schedule, which is like closing early on Monday. It's very important that our staff gets all the education and trainings that they should get in order to service your families well. So thank you so much for easily adjusting to the schedule. Honestly, I know a couple of the parents reached out to us because their jobs, and it was not very easy for them to pick their child early. But believe it or not, it is very important for us to find time to do things rightly for your child, so it's going to benefit your families in and all. So thank you, Cindy, Nicole, Heather, Maria, Sandra, Melissa, April. Did I miss anyone? Nicole, Rachel. Thank you so much for all your help. And I can see in slides, you guys did an amazing job.
Okay, so we are going to end the meeting, and there are 2 recorded pieces to this meeting that we will be sending out to everyone. And I'm going to have Sandra hold up the number that was chosen. Number 18. I believe Caleb's family chose number 18. So you win a prize. It's going to be fresh chicken eggs from my home. I have 55 chickens and a lot of eggs. So I will be possibly playing more games throughout the school year to get rid of those. And we just want to thank everyone for joining this meeting. It's hard on an evening, I know, but it's really important that we're all able to communicate with one another. So if there's anything that comes up, you can email, you can call, you can check in person, and we are here for you. So thank you and have a good evening.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.